Have you ever wondered if your brain is secretly asking the same question all the time? Welcome to today's episode. Here's the strange idea we're exploring. Somewhere inside your mind, there may be a default question. A question that quietly runs in the background of your life. You may not notice it, but it might be shaping how you see the world. Let's start with something simple. Your brain never truly rests. Even when you're not focused on anything, your mind is still active. Neuroscience calls this the default mode network, a set of brain regions that stay busy when you're daydreaming, remembering the past, imagining the future, or thinking about yourself. In other words, when your mind wanders, it's not random. It's working on something. And one intriguing possibility is that it keeps circling around a core question. Think about that for a moment. What if your brain isn't just processing thoughts, but quietly trying to answer the same question over and over? Questions like, am I safe? Do people accept me? Am I enough? Where do I belong? Or something even bigger. Maybe the question is, who am I? Or perhaps, what is this life really about? These questions rarely appear as clear sentences in our heads. Instead, they influence our interpretations of events, our reactions, and even our goals. And here's where things get interesting. The brain doesn't just wait for answers. It actively predicts the world. In neuroscience, this is sometimes described as predictive processing. The brain constantly generates expectations about what will happen next, then adjusts those predictions based on reality. But predictions need a starting point. A question. If the underlying question in your mind is the world dangerous? Your brain will constantly scan for threats. If the question is, how do I succeed? Your attention might lock onto opportunities, competition, and status. And if the question is, what can I learn from this? The same situations might look like experiments instead of problems. The world hasn't changed. But your question has. Let's imagine a simple event. You lose your job. One mind asks, why do I always fail? That question leads the brain to collect evidence of past mistakes. The story becomes one of defeat. Another mind asks, what can I learn from this? Now the brain searches for lessons, patterns, new strategies. A third mind asks, how can I use this situation? Suddenly, the same event becomes a doorway to opportunity. Same event, different question, different reality. And here's a strange twist. Most people don't consciously choose their core question. It often forms quietly over years, through childhood experiences, culture, family expectations, or difficult moments. In a way, we inherit our questions. But occasionally, something happens. A book, a conversation, a crisis, a moment of reflection. And suddenly, a person realizes something surprising. The question guiding my life might not be the one I want. That moment can change everything. Because when the question changes, the mind starts building a different map of the world. Think about two very different guiding questions. How do I win? Versus, what is really true? Both can lead to successful lives, but they produce very different paths. The first often leads toward competition, achievement, and external rewards. The second leads toward curiosity, philosophy, and exploration. Neither is automatically right or wrong, but they shape the way we experience life. Now here's another layer to this idea. Not every question is equally authentic. Sometimes we ask questions because society expects them. How do I become rich? How do I become successful? But inside, another question might be quietly burning. What is this world really? Why do humans behave the way they do? What kind of life actually feels meaningful? These deeper questions can be uncomfortable. They don't always lead to money, status, or approval, but they often bring something else. A sense of alignment. a feeling that you're following your real curiosity instead of someone else's expectations. And that raises another interesting possibility. Maybe the goal isn't to find the perfect answer. Maybe the real work is discovering which question truly belongs to you, because people often try to change their answers. They try to change their habits, their goals, their careers. But sometimes the deeper shift happens when the question itself changes. Instead of asking, "How do I survive?" you start asking, "How do I live well?" Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you ask, "What can I do with this?" Instead of asking, "How do I get more?" you ask, "What kind of life do I actually want?" These subtle shifts may sound small, but they can completely reshape how the brain interprets the world. It's almost like changing the search term in a search engine. Different question, different results. And maybe that's one of the most fascinating things about the human mind. We think our lives are shaped by events, but often they're shaped by the questions we carry. So here's something to consider. Right now, somewhere in the background of your mind, there may be a quiet question guiding how you see the world. What do you think it is? And more importantly, is it the question you truly want to live with?